Question.
Why not us?
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 Because you got to go through us. Go Hawks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome America to CenturyLink Field, home of the 12s and the world champion Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks fans, your Super Bowl 48 World Championship banner. Now, please welcome your world champion, Seattle Seahawks!
Splitting note, welcome to the season. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, the show before you. Welcome to Seattle. We all know how hard it is to repeat. No team has done it in the NFL in a decade, since the 03-04 Patriots. But these Seahawks, they're young. They have a tremendous amount of talent, and they play in this crazy sound garden where they won 17 of their last 18 games. But keep an eye, too, on the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers missed half of last season with a broken collarbone. They still made the playoffs. Aaron's healthy in the prime of his career. They have a stud running back in Eddie Lacy. And if that defense can pick it up in Green Bay, they could wind up on Super Bowl Sunday in Arizona. A lot to look forward to tonight. 6 years now with Chris Collinsworth. Why not us?
I guess that's better than why us, huh?
That's for sure. Let's look at these Seahawks. We know they can repeat, but how do they repeat?
Well, I think they're better than they were last year. Now, defensively, I don't think they can be better than what they did with that historic season last year. But offensively, no question, Russell Wilson's a better quarterback than where he was to start the season. And Percy Harvin is a very dynamic playmaker. We'll get a full season out of him, hopefully. What do you see him tonight?
A lot to like with the Green Bay Packers. What's your take?
Well, their big three are tremendous on the offensive side. Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Eddie Lacy, the offensive rookie of the year last year. Big man with great moves. And Jordy Nelson, such a dynamic playmaker down the field. And tonight they take on the Legion of Boom. How do you get better than this?
A lot of stars in action and a lot of fun coming up over the next 5 months. And away we go tonight from Seattle, Green Bay, and the Seahawks.
And now, to honor America with our national anthem, Republic Records recording artist, Ariana Grande.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Michelle Tafoya, time to take those earplugs out. It's all yours, Michelle.
Well, Al, the last time the Packers visited Seattle, the game ended with that Hail Mary, that controversial touchdown call, which gave the Seahawks the win. But what often gets forgotten is that Aaron Rodgers was sacked 8 times in that game, all in the first half. Now, Rodgers told me those sacks were a product of trying to throw a lot of passes early, and of course the noise. Mike McCarthy said, "I didn't give this place enough credit. We tried to spread them out. It's not a half I'm proud of." Now, Rodgers believes they have a much better plan tonight. They're going to try to run as fast a no-huddle offense as possible, and he wants to call clean plays, those that don't require a lot of adjustment at the line of scrimmage. But still, they're facing the #1 defense in the NFL, and their starting center is a rookie, Corey Linsley, who didn't take any snaps with the starters in the preseason. And then there's the 12th man, Al, and here comes the noise now.
It is a tradition here, and there are the 3 honorary flag raisers: Steve Largent, Cortez Kennedy, Walter Jones, all in the Hall of Fame. And they are the 3 Seattle Seahawks whose numbers have been retired. It's a franchise in its 39th season. Walter Jones going in just recently in August in Canton. So they raise the flag. This stadium, as almost everybody knows, is the noisiest in the National Football League. About 67,000 looking on, and they couldn't wait for this day to come. It was a beautiful day in Seattle. Temperature right now is 71 degrees. Mike McCarthy has been the Green Bay coach since '06 in his 9th season. Won the Super Bowl in Dallas following the 2010 campaign, and Pete Carroll in his 5th year here won 2 national championships at USC. Previously coached the Jets in '94 and the Patriots in the late '90s, and took them to the title at the Meadowlands. Stephen Hauschka to kick off. Seattle won the toss, and they have deferred, and DeJuan Harris sets up in the end zone to run back the opening kickoff. And before we can start the season, twice now, the ball has blown off the tee. It's a little breezy in here, but not normally enough to blow it off the tee. And Hauschka will put it down again one more time, and we'll have to get somebody to come over and hold it for him. Perfect early evening. Rodgers ready to get that offense started, and we can't wait to see it. And the 2014 season begins with a kick that goes 6 yards into the end zone. And DeJuan Harris will come out and get buried at the 13-yard line. Let's take a look right now at the Green Bay starters.
Aaron Rodgers, Butte Community College.
Eddie Lacy, Alabama.
Jordy Nelson, Kansas State.
Randall Cobb, Kentucky.
Jared Boykin, Virginia Tech.
Richard Rogers, Cal Berkeley.
David Bakhtiari, Sarah High School.
Josh Sitton, Central Florida.
Corey Linsley, The Ohio State.
TJ Lang, Birmingham Brother Rice.
Brian Balaga, Iowa.
And eyes on Linsley. Michelle talking about the rookie center. Makes his NFL debut by snapping it to Rodgers. The Packers indicating they're going to run a warp speed offense. We'll see. They start with Lacy on the ground. He takes the ball out to the 19-yard line. Kevin Williams, the longtime former Minnesota Viking, makes the stop. And now a little sugar huddle. A couple of yards behind the ball. Seattle ready for anything. Obviously, defensively, that defense last year was phenomenal. On 2nd and 4, we have a flag. And this is Lacey chugging his way for a gain of a couple. John Parry is the referee. One of the best. Michael Bennett, I think, came across the line for Seattle. The question was he induced?
Offside, defense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Aaron Rodgers, home or road, doesn't matter with him. On the road in his career, a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio and an NFL record 101 passer rating. So Seattle with a penalty of all crazy things, it's an anomaly. Seattle last year, great defensively, good enough offensively, Super Bowl chance, but led the league in penalties. And here goes Lacey, a healthy dose of him breaking tackles. And the second-year back out of Alabama takes the ball to the 39-yard line where Bobby Wagner stops him after a gain of 15.
I think you go back to a guy like Jerome Bettis. Since we've seen a guy with this kind of moves at his size, just great balance, the ability to make even defensive backs miss. What a start for them running the football here.
Picked up a lot of experience last year. They had to go to the ground game because Rodgers missed almost 8 full games. And they toss it this time to Starks. They have 3 running backs. They've got Lacey, they've got Starks, and they've got DeJuan Harris. Short gain here, 2nd and 8. McCarthy calls the plays in.
So you say, why are they going so fast? They're trying to trap the big guys on the field. Right now, Brandon Mebane, Kevin Williams has been out there this entire drive, and the Seattle Seahawks are used to making a lot of substitutions.
From the shotgun, set up the screen, but the pass is behind Jordy Nelson, and so that's covered well, and it's a loss. KJ Wright, the outside linebacker, taking him down. A loss of 2, it'll be 3rd down and 10. And there is Corey Linsley, who was drafted in the 5th round, played his college football at Ohio State, and gets the start tonight. On national television in the opener, snapping it to Aaron Rodgers against the best defense in the league. Apart from that, not much going on. 3rd and 10. Rodgers stepping up, buying time. It gets taken down at the 40-yard line. O'Brien Schofield makes the stop.
That time they decided to spy on Aaron Rodgers, so they were just going to rush 3 and then leave a linebacker right in the middle of the field right there so that in case he did decide to run for it, they've got somebody in play.
Tim Mastay to kick. Earl Thomas is going to run back punch this year. It's a very short kick, and Thomas fields it on the run and gets tackled immediately at the 35-yard line by Sean Richardson. So we'll look at the Seattle offense. We come back on opening night with NFL Mobile. That was the scene in the Meadowlands in February. Confetti coming down. Roger Goodell is here tonight, the NFL commissioner, taking in the action. I'm sure he'll be someplace else on Sunday and maybe even on Monday when the rest of the guys get underway. They start with a short pass to Percy Harvin, who takes it up to the 39-yard line. And let's take a look at the Seattle offense.
Russell Wilson from a whole pack of Badgers.
Marshawn Lynch, Oakland Ice City, California.
Percy Harvin, University of Florida.
Doug Baldwin, Stanford.
Jermaine Kearse, Washington. Zach Miller, Arizona State.
Russell Okung, Oklahoma State.
James Carpenter, Alabama.
Max Unger, Oregon. J.R. Sweezy, NC State. Justin Britt, LHS, MIZ.
A lot of eyes tonight on the rookie over the right side, and this is beast mode. Marshawn Lynch to the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. So Wilson, a 3rd-round pick 2 years ago, 24-8 as a starting quarterback regular season. Of course, last year took him all the way to the title with 3 postseason wins. Started his college career at North Carolina State. Still had eligibility there, but they weren't interested in having him come back for his senior year. So on he went to Wisconsin, led him to the Rose Bowl, and of course the Hawks to the Super Bowl last year. Harvin takes the quick flip and picks up the first down to the 48-yard line. Micah Hyde makes the tackle.
Percy Harvin with 2 touches already. He had 2 rushes in the Super Bowl and ended up the leading rusher in that game. But anytime you can get this dynamic playmaker in the open field, you do it. He played a little running back. Dom Capers was telling me when he was with the Minnesota Vikings that they feared him as much in the backfield as they did Adrian Peterson. That's the kind of talent he has.
He ran back that second half kickoff to make the score 29-0 in the Super Bowl, and that was the kill shot. Pass over the middle, caught by Jermaine Kearse, who also had a good postseason. Gain of 8. Let's take a look at the Packard defense.
Dayton Jones, UCLA.
Latroy Guyon, Bradford High School Tornadoes.
Mike Daniels, Highland Regional High School.
Clay Matthews, USC.
AJ Hawk, The Ohio State University.
Brad Jones, University of Colorado.
Julius Peppers, North Carolina.
Tremont Williams, La Tech.
Morgan Burnett, Georgia Tech. Micah Hyde, University of Iowa.
Sam Shields, the U.
And if you didn't pay much attention in the offseason, that is Julius Peppers, the former Carolina Panther and Chicago Bear. This is Turbin who gets taken down. They put Turbin in the backfield, taking Lynch out here, and he gets taken down by Matthews for no gain.
You better get somebody on this guy. You leave him unblocked, he's going to run down your running back from behind. What a play. Clay Matthews had real problems with his thumb, had surgery in the offseason, and you can imagine for a pass rushing defender kind of guy, if you can't grab and pull with that thumb, it really limits you. Right off the bat, we see some of his explosiveness back.
So his first play of the season, taking Turbin down from behind. Lynch comes back in now. Wilson from the gun on 3rd and 2, and the pass is deflected in the air and then intercepted, and then it's loose again. Are they going to call it an interception? No, it's going to call it an incompletion. Jones came down with the ball, but they're going to say incomplete.
What a great play. I think that was Miller who went up and knocked it out. Watch this. It comes back. This is going to be an easy interception. Miller gets back on his feet and knocks that ball out. Tremendous play. Russell Wilson says thank you very much. Great play by Sam Shields initially, but then Miller saved him an interception.
So Seattle's first punt off the foot of John Ryan. Randall Cobb back to run it back, standing at the 8-yard line. Nose down with backspin, and it's a short kick. And he got a flag down, running into the kicker. As a flag is thrown by Parry, Mike Daniels came in to try to block Ryan's kick.
Number 76, 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So it's just running into the kicker, but since it was 4th and 2, that 5's enough for a first down.
Right up the gut. This is an easy call. Comes right in, catches him, tries to catch him on the way down, but it doesn't do you any good. And one thing you do not need to do with Seattle is give them extra opportunities. That hurts. Mike Daniels, a really good player, Al. He is a talented guy, one of the strongest guys you'll see playing defensive end around, but that was a big mistake.
Wilson now from the shotgun at the 40-yard line. This is Seattle's opening drive, and they give it to Harbin. And Harbin gets the first down and picks up a gain of 13 off a Zach Miller block. So Miller's been huge on this drive. First down.
Look familiar. Here comes the jet sweep across the way here. And before the defense, you see Julius Peppers been around the league about 10, 12 years. He couldn't even figure out what just happened to him. Percy Harvin went by him so fast. This is the play. They ran it twice in the Super Bowl for 45 yards. It's still working.
Harvin came over in that trade last year, but missed almost the whole season. Hip surgery. Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel had him at Minnesota. He calls the plays. Play clock is down to 1, and they just do snap it. Wilson feeling the pressure, starts to take off, gets to the sideline. No gain. Clinton Dix runs him out of bounds. Hakeem Clinton Dix.
How about that? Isn't that a great name?
Fabulous.
You just wonder if he told a joke, what would you do? You know, I don't know. But he is a young man he's a safety that has come over. He's going to sort of mix his way in with Micah Hyde, who's a little bit more of a cover kind of guy. Clinton Dix is a bigger guy that maybe if Marshawn Lynch gets it going, you'll see more of him.
Halfway mark of the opening quarter on opening night with no score. 2nd and 10. Lynch puts that head down and takes the ball to the 21-yard line. It'll be interesting to see how much Lynch carries the ball this year. He's had more than 300 carries in each of the last 2 seasons. He's now 28 years old.
Watch the young rookie right tackle Justin Britt on the backside get the veteran Julius Peppers on the ground. And if you can do that with the way that Marshawn Lynch can hit some cutbacks, they end up with some big runs. A lot of pressure on Justin Britt. Very good run blocker. We'll see how he holds up against these excellent pass rushers.
Second-round pick, at one time a Missouri high school heavyweight wrestling champion. 3rd down and 5 from the 21-yard line. Blitz coming. Wilson gets it away. The pass is caught, but not enough for the first down, as Doug Baldwin had to come back to make the catch, and forward progress won't net him the first. Tremont Williams is there for the stop.
Doing a lot of things already with Clay Matthews. Going to stunt inside here and almost get there, but Russell Wilson's doing such a great job of getting the ball out of his hands, and there's the young rookie on the outside against Julius Peppers. Pretty good down that one.
So 4th and 1, as Baldwin had to come back to make the catch, and Williams made sure he didn't pick up the first. This will be a 35-yard field goal attempt for Stephen Hauschka. And what do we have here? We've got a timeout.
They almost got caught with too many men on the field. If they had been caught there, if they had been able to get that snap off, it would have been first down again.
30-second timeout.
Almost 2 huge penalties or mistakes on special teams to start this game.
Carroll contending that they didn't get the timeout called. Josh Boyd was one of the guys.
There's about 13 guys on the field right now, and so they figure it out and start to run off. But Seattle, obviously, they may have tried to get this snap off, and if they had, it would have been a first down.
Nick Perry was the other guy to account for the 13. So Hauschka now will reset at the 25-yard line. Trying to put up the first points of this season. John Ryan, who's the punter, will do the holding.
Julius Peppers inside there, one of the great kick blockers ever.
For many years, and this kick is perfect. So there's your first score of the season. 6:03 left in the first. Seattle 3 and Green Bay nothing. Hey, don't miss a moment of Sunday Night Football this season with NBC Sports Live Extra. Take the game with you anywhere, online, and on tablet. Great shot of Seattle. It's the Ferris wheel, which opened a couple of years ago. Elliott Bay. Look at downtown Seattle, home of the Super Bowl champions.
This place was fired up this week, weren't they?
Well, I'll say.
Man, it was a lot of fun to be here.
Lively. It always is, but of course when you come home as the Super Bowl champion, extra special, obviously. Stephen Hauschka to put it in the air. And down to the end zone by Harris. The familiar sight, of course, is the Space Needle here in Seattle. Back after this.
Rookie Corey Linsley found out about a week ago he was going to be the starter in this madhouse, and at least so far working against one of the strongest nose tackles in the game, Brandon Mebane. I have to say he's done pretty well. Holding his own. You'll see a little bit of his power here coming off the double team. Fighting. He played at Ohio State. He played in the big house. He said on a relative scale, this is a pretty small place.
What a way to make your debut. Nice opening salvo for Linsley, a kid from Youngstown, Ohio. As he snaps it to Rodgers on first down, and the pass to the outside is taken there by Nelson. Linsley grew up near Cleveland, but he wasn't a Browns fan. He said, I was a Packer fan. In fact, he was such a Packer fan when he was 7 years old. For Halloween, he dressed up as Brett Favre. I asked him last night, does Aaron know this? He said, no. I said, he will.
He really was a nice young man, though, wasn't he? Did not seem overwhelmed at all by this situation.
From the 31, Rodgers throwing, and it's Lacey trying to break a tackle, and he gets a lot of help, and he gets gang tackled. Let's take a look at the Seattle defense.
Michael Bennett, Ailey Taylor High School.
Tony McDaniel, Tennessee.
Brandon Mebane, Crenshaw High School.
Cliff Averill, Boilermaker. Malcolm Smith, USC.
Bobby Wagner, D, Utah State.
KJ Wright, Mississippi State.
Richard Sherman, Stanford.
Cam Chancellor, Virginia Tech. Earl Thomas, DBU, Texas.
Byron Maxwell, CC Glenn.
That defense last year, you look at those numbers, they're right up there with the 1985 Chicago Bears. Fewest points allowed, fewest yards allowed, most takeaways. Phenomenal on every level. Play clock to 0 as Rodgers gets it away and then throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Randall Cobb covered on the play by Jeremy Lane.
A simple little pick play trying to hit Cobb coming up the sideline. He hesitated just a minute and probably cost him a catch. I think that was a really good throw by Aaron Rodgers. But this entire game so far, Jordy Nelson has been down here on Byron Maxwell. They do not flip-flop corners here in Seattle. So basically, Richard Sherman's been out of the picture.
3rd and 14. Sliding left. Rodgers buys a ton of time, and then that pass is underthrown. Popped it. Intended for Nelson. 4th and 14. And they got a little skirmish going on back at the 15-yard line.
Comes Averill off the corner here. And TJ Lang coming from the backside, the guard, just took Averill out. That has become very much in vogue in the National Football League. And here's Earl Thomas going to do something new this year.
First punt return was 3 yards. Golden Tate no longer here. He opted for the big money in Detroit. Thomas to run back the punch. Mastay to put it in the air for the 2nd time in the game. And Thomas camps underneath it and then loses the football as he did not call for the fair catch. The Packers are sure they have it. And we'll wait for the call here from the crew. They have it. So Thomas running back kicks, and House was right there all over him. And I'm surprised Thomas didn't call for the fair catch, and it cost him.
Yeah, but Richard Sherman blocked House right into the kick returner Earl Thomas. And Earl Thomas now, that's 2 times in a row. He took a huge chance just trying to field the punt. You know the kind of pride he has. He is a guy that wants to be the tough guy out there. But that's twice now. He took huge chances not calling a fair catch, and this time it cost him.
Clinton-Dix wound up with the recovery, and that gives Green Bay excellent position at the 34-yard line. 4.5 to go in the quarter. Seattle up 3-0. Lacey and Kuhn in the backfield. Kuhn the fullback. And Lacey follows him and goes to the outside, but he can't turn the corner. And Seattle with Cassius Marsh, a rookie out of UCLA, in on the tackle. No gain.
One thing you're going to learn about the National Football League is they're going to play you inside out. They want you to try and outrun NFL defensive ends and linebackers. Unless you're Gale Sayers, you're probably not going to get that done.
2nd and 10. 3 backs now. The tight end Corliss is also in the backfield. And Lacey through the middle, and there's nothing happening there. To the 32-yard line, KJ Wright makes the stop. Lacey picked in the 2nd round, played for Saban at Alabama. Last year, Green Bay looking for the running game, had a concussion early in the season. They also had an off week. But then when Rodgers got hurt, they had to go to the ground game, so he got a lot of experience in 2013.
And for the first time, really, now playing on 3rd down as well. He's nicknamed himself Moss because he thinks he's a receiver now. But he did not play on 3rd down very much at all last season.
3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Rodgers slides, throws, and the pass is taken in by Cobb. Does he have the first down? It's right there on the yellow line. They're going to spot it, and it should move the chains, and does.
Aaron Rodgers just so good moving to his left. It's such a tough throw. Drills it right in there, but that ability, just like Russell Wilson has, to just slide out of the pocket, buy a little time, picked up that first down.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks tonight who are both great outside of the pocket. They're not bad inside the pocket either.
They're just great.
And Rodgers to the left side again, and this is Nelson. And he'll make it 1st down and goal for Green Bay.
Byron Maxwell came in at the end of last year and played really well, but because Seattle does not flip-flop their cornerbacks, they're able to get their best receiver, Jordy Nelson, on Byron Maxwell anytime they want it. And basically, Richard Sherman's on the other side against Jared Boykin, their number 3.
Now they stack the backs here. Rodgers had taken out of the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. This is Nelson, and Nelson's stretching for the goal line, and he's out of bounds at the 2. Tackled by Maxwell.
And this game plan has not been too complex so far. Maxwell comes up, they go to that back shoulder or comeback. He plays off a little bit, they just raise up and let Jordy Nelson try to make a play.
Second down and goal. They'll hurry up here. The play clock is at 2, and Rodgers takes the timeout. So he surveyed the situation. Green Bay coming into the game, a lot of talk about they wanted to run 75 plays per game. They did that in the first half anyway, on that pace in a preseason game, Chris. And tonight they've run 14 plays in almost a full quarter.
Yeah, and the difference is that the defensive linemen for the Seattle Seahawks last season, they played about 65% of the snaps. That's what they sort of averaged, even on the top end of that. So they're trying to make them stay on the field for an entire drive and wear them down.
Rodgers had that broken collarbone last year in midseason, did come back, played against Chicago in that last game of the year, led that tremendous comeback at the finish at Soldier Field, got him into the playoffs. They had home field against San Francisco, but lost in the wild card round.
Sometimes defenses forget about John Kuhn in these situations on the goal line. He scores a lot of touchdowns catching the football down here.
Now they have Mike Daniels in the backfield, so they put the tackle in there. There he is behind right guard, and they give the ball to Kuhn, and he reaches out and is in for the touchdown. Line judge coming in to say he was able to stretch out before forward progress was stopped, and in go the Packers.
Well, you just think that he's going to hand the ball to Lacy the other way. Let's make sure he crossed the plane here. Yes. I don't think he was ever down. His knee was never down. I guess they never blew the whistle for momentum, and then clearly leaned it across the line.
All scoring plays automatically reviewed. Yep, he's across the line. Any part of the ball over any part of the goal line. That's 21 regular season touchdowns now for that man Kuhn. None of them longer than 10 yards, but that's what he does. Comes in short yardage and does it here.
So far, special teams mistakes leading to both scores.
Mason Crosby for the extra point. So what set it up? It was the muff punt. Thomas put it on the ground, and the Packers take it in for the first touchdown of the season. 7-3 Green Bay. Well, Mike Holmgren was here for a long time, and there's a guy, of course, who was on both sides in this game. Green Bay took them to a Super Bowl, had a street named after him. Took Seattle to a Super Bowl in Detroit against Pittsburgh after the 05 season, which they lost 21-10. And the kickoff goes through the end zone. So Seattle will get the ball. 1:25 to go in the quarter with Green Bay up by 4 on opening night. Well, that's a nice pair to draw to. Julius Peppers coming over from Chicago. Clay Matthews, drafted a few years ago by Green Bay. Take a look at some of those numbers. 8 Pro Bowls for Peppers, 4 for Matthews. Would have made a 5th appearance probably had he not had the broken thumb on 2 occasions last year. And that defense is on the field right now as the ball is handed off with the flag thrown. Marshawn Lynch for a gain of a couple. Going to get a hold against Seattle.
Yeah, Clay Matthews is saying it's on Justin Britt, the rookie. He immediately snapped around.
Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Here's right here, going to kind of hook him around the neck, shoulder area, and got the call. One thing that Russell Wilson's done a nice job of, at least so far, is he's getting the ball out of his hands really quickly. Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, now feels like he has more healthy pass rushers than he's had in years, and Russell Wilson knew it. He knew he was going to have to get the ball out of his hand. We haven't seen any of his sort of trademark scrambles yet, though.
First down and 20 now. Trying to get some breathing room. And Lynch is able to provide that as he takes it to the 21-yard line for a gain of 11. Matthews runs him down there. It'll be second down.
One of the real pleasant surprises so far this preseason has been the play of these two guards, J.R. Sweezy and James Carpenter. James Carpenter on the other side is a guy that, I don't know, maybe wasn't always in the best of shape, came back in just great shape, number 77, and they feel like that he really has a chance to be a star in this game, but J.R. Sweezy's been great as well.
Fake inside handoff to Lynch, and throwing on the run, and the catch is made a yard shy of the first down by Percy Harvin before he goes out of bounds. So they've turned a 1st and 20 into a 3rd down and 1 as the clock will tick down and probably end the quarter before they get another play off.
You know, sometimes as a quarterback, getting out of the pocket just kind of gets you in the game. And somebody with the mobility of Russell Wilson, I think that'll help him here early.
And that is the end of the first quarter. Green Bay 7, Seattle 3. This kickoff special resumes from Seattle after these messages. And tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. Start the second quarter in Seattle. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya on a beautiful opening night. It's 3rd down and 1 now for the Seahawks from their own 29-yard line. And the ball is handed off to Lynch, and he will pick up the first down. A gain of 7, Morgan Burnett running him down.
I tell you, Marshawn Lynch is just so good. He breaks more tackles than anybody that I can name in the National Football League, and you think you've got him. He's not a huge guy, about 215, 220 pounds, but one guy trying to get him, it just doesn't happen. Julius Peppers crashed down across the face, and that was Justin Britt able to just ride him right out of the hole.
To the outside to Percy Harvin, and he'll get smacked before he can get to the line of scrimmage, and the ball almost came loose there. Clay Matthews is right there to secure him.
Clay Matthews is playing angry out here so far. Looked like he tried to rip the head off of Percy Harvin on this one. Come out here, he reads this all the way, quickly gets off the block and just gets Percy Harvin by the head. Jeez.
Clay Matthews.
I'll tell you what, Al, when he's right and when he's healthy, he has been as dynamic a defensive player as we have in the game. It's always a shame. It seems like something kind of knocks him out of his game.
How's that pedigree, by the way?
Yeah.
And wide open at the 50-yard line is Harvin. And on 2nd and long, Percy Harvin takes the ball into Green Bay territory, and they'll spot it at about the 32.
What a move off the ball by Percy Harvin. He's going to come over and duck underneath the coverage here, make Morgan Burnett basically get picked off his own guy, and perfectly done by Russell Wilson. Those crossing routes are just something that are going to give the Packers nightmare. Here's Zach Miller, the tight end on the outside. Boy, is it nice to have a tight end that can block a superstar pass rusher like that.
Already 5 catches tonight for Harvin. Oh, they fake it to Lynch. They faked everybody. Lockett makes the catch, gets into the end zone.
Oh, baby.
Beautiful ball handling.
They took a page out of Auburn's playbook. The read option, pull up and throw it down the field. The corner came up to get Russell Wilson, and he just dumped it right in behind him. Sam Shields thought that was just a read option, so he was going after Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson pulls it down and throws a touchdown pass. Great play design.
And Clinton Dix misses the tackle. Could have stopped at about the 5. They take the lead, Hauschka, to kick the extra point. 2 minutes into the second quarter. For the Seahawks, back-to-back 33-yard plays. A Harvin reception, the Lockett reception. And just like that, Seattle takes the lead over Green Bay, 10-7. Well, that drive started with a penalty on Britt. They started at the 20. The Britt penalty took them back to the 10, and away they went. It's an 80-yard drive, 2 runs, 4 passes, the back-to-back 33-yarders to Harbin and Lockett. And Seattle has the lead for the first time. 10-7, Seahawks on top. Aaron Rodgers anxious to get back out onto the field. He has begun the night 6 out of 8 for 34 yards. 6 yards into the end zone. Harris hesitated and then comes out and gets the ball to the 16-yard line as we go back to the touchdown.
Sam Shields hadn't seen this one. See the read option? He comes up and there's nobody in behind but Clinton Dix. Here he comes. A little change up. That's a play they use a lot in college now. Welcome to the NFL. Beautifully done by Russell Wilson. And then my favorite part, at the end of the play, Russell Wilson looks back and said, "Coach Bevel, nice call." And you see him kind of laughing. There they are sitting on the bench. And you could read his lips just a few minutes ago. He said, "Nice call, Coach."
Bevel, one of the top assistants in the league, might have gotten a head coaching job had they not gone so deep into the playoffs last year.
Great point.
From the 16. And Lacey gets stopped. I mean, it's so tough for an assistant coach to have a chance because if a team needs a coach, they normally want to hire him, Chris, in January. They don't want to have to wait around. So you've got Bevel, you've got Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator, a pair of guys who might be head coaches right now were it not for the success of the Seahawks.
Yeah, both the coordinators had 2 interviews apiece, but they couldn't wait. You know, there's too much pressure to hire a coach for these teams.
And Rodgers will dump it off to Lacey. And he gets smacked at the 20-yard line. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, you know, we talk about coaches, and when you think about them, and you've got Lambeau, of course, and Lombardi, and we saw Mike Holmgren, and this guy, he doesn't get what he deserves. Mike McCarthy, 9 years, 9 pretty good years.
Yeah, and really he's the offensive coach. He's the head coach, but he's the offensive coach. And you look at their offensive numbers since he's been here, off the charts. They've had a couple of lean years on defense, but not on offense.
In the history of the league, he has the 2nd highest points per game average, topped only by Sean Payton. 3rd and 5. And a quick toss on a slant and a first down as Cobb makes the catch. Lane rolls him down, and that moves the chains.
Well, Jeremy Lane's had groin injuries, and you just wonder how healthy he's going to be on some of these change of direction. He thought it was going to be that pick play again. He reacted to the outside, and they just changed it up.
Give it to Lacey, bounces away. Turns no gain into a pickup of 2 or 3. Bobby Wagner, the middle linebacker, stops him.
We got 2 Packers down on that play.
Yeah. You got Malaga and you got Richard Rodgers, so you got your right tackle and your tight end. So a pair of Packers are down and needing attention. Saturday night, one of college football's great rivalries, Notre Dame and Michigan. You can warm up for it on NBC SN at 6:30 Eastern, and then the game at 7:30 Eastern time. Fighting Irish and the Wolverines here on NBC. You had Rodgers and Balaga both going down on the same play. We'll take a look at how it happened.
Yeah, Cliff Avrill's going to jam Balaga's head right back into Richard Rodgers. I think Balaga may have gotten a little concussion-like symptom there, and not sure what happened to Rodgers, the tight end.
So Balaga out. That's Sherrod, number 78, Derek Sherrod, 4th-year guy out of Mississippi State. Andrew Quarles comes in at tight end. And the inside handoff goes here to Starks, and he gets taken down after a very short gain by Bobby Wagner.
Got a little taste of that hawk tackling that they talk about. This team does about as good a job of wrapping when they tackle as any team in the National Football League. They take great pride in sort of their rugby style of tackle.
3rd down and 4. Pretty tough to run an offense at warp speed in this ballpark. Play clock at 4. Handoff goes to Starks, and he takes it out to the 44-yard line. So the backup back, you've got Lacey, of course, is number 1, but Starks can do the job. Found out about that in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and DeJuan Harris is number 3.
Yeah, and he had a great year last year. 5.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns over 20 yards.
Rodgers protected well, slings it to the outside, and that's Parlis making the catch. Out of bounds he goes. Cam Chancellor with the tackle. Aaron Rodgers, he's about as good as it gets right now. I mean, we've lived in this whole Brady and Peyton Manning era, and they're still great, but he came along a little bit later, but he's right up there with them.
There's no question about it, and his mobility separates him a little bit. He can throw as well moving left or right or in the pocket, and just such a dynamic playmaker, has been for a long time.
Got to throw Drew Brees in there as well. 2nd down and 8. And Starks gets taken down. Gang tackling again. Everybody going to the ball. 3rd down and 5.
I'll tell you, you have to start throwing Russell Wilson in there as well. First 2 years in the league, over 100 quarterback rating and a Super Bowl trophy already. I'll take my chances with him in his career.
Don't forget Andrew Luck. We'll see him on Sunday night. Indianapolis against Denver. 3rd and 5. Rodgers escaping, buying time, deep downfield into traffic, and 2 flags. Cobb trying to turn around. You had Wagner going all the way downfield with him, and Bobby Wagner getting tangled up with him, and 2 flags come in.
Well, pretty amazing that Bobby Wagner can run that far down the field with a guy like Randall Cobb, but once that ball's in the air.
Interference, defense, number 54. Automatic 1st down, spot of the foul.
So difficult for anybody to learn to turn their head, and middle linebackers just aren't used to doing this. When the ball's coming, you got to turn your head, or just the receiver's action of going back into the defender is an automatic pass interference.
That's a 44-yard penalty. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. To the outside. There's Cobb, and he's going to get wrapped up immediately by Lane.
Had that play where Jordy Nelson never turned around to look for the pass. He simply was going to block coming off the line of scrimmage. They're going to try and get it here and just beat Jeremy Lane to the end zone, but Jeremy Lane just beat him to the punch.
Under 8 to go in the half. Seahawks by 3. Green Bay threatening with a 2nd and goal. Lacey keeps the legs going, takes the ball just inside the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on every single snap, Jared Boykin's been on Richard Sherman. There hasn't been one ball thrown over here to this side. And now you've got Jordy Nelson in the slot with Andrew Corliss on the left side. Looks like you're going to have some kind of zone because they've got a linebacker out on Jordy Nelson.
Green Bay going 4 wide. Rodgers out of the gun. Buying time, slinging it too high. Thomas covering on the play, intended for Nelson. And that'll make it 4th down.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Aaron Rodgers threw it where he did, or Earl Thomas is going to have an interception. Rodgers saw him and was hoping Jordy Nelson would slide away from him, but I don't think Jordy Nelson ever saw what Earl Thomas was doing.
So they can't cash all the way in on that 44-yard penalty. Have to settle for a field goal attempt. Mason Crosby had a nice comeback year last year after a very poor season in 2012. And this 23-yard attempt is good. Aaron Rodgers a little frustrated after that drive, which ends with 3 instead of 7. The game tied at 10. Russell Wilson can do it from outside the pocket. His 2 years in the league, 1,821 yards and 17 TD passes. That's the most in the NFL outside the pocket, and inside the pocket he ain't bad either. And only 2 quarterbacks with a 100+ rating inside and outside the pocket over the past 2 seasons, and the other is a guy we're going to see on Sunday night.
The incredibly mobile Peyton Manning. Yeah. That was one, as soon as that one came up, I was like, say, what? Wait a minute, who is that? He's just as good everywhere, I guess.
Home and road, too. At the goal line, Percy Harvin looking for some room. It spun around again, but is able to run it back to the 30-yard line. What a difference he's going to make this season.
That Percy Harvin is a special player, and so is this guy, Russell Wilson. One of the things he's really worked on is quickening up his release time. .33 is about as good as it gets. We've seen a couple down around .30. He's been pretty consistent at .33. You'll see the throwing motion. Pretty much straight up, maybe a little loop at the bottom, but he gets that ball out of there very quickly. And so far, these pass rushers really haven't had the chance to get to him, but we also haven't seen a lot of his scrambling where a lot of his trademark plays come from.
Very efficient, only 1 incomplete pass to this point. In the pocket this time, going deep and reaching for it and one-handing it is Zach Miller, the tight end. Great catch.
Zach Miller is going to be out there working against Clay Matthews, and I thought this thing was overthrown all the way. Look at that catch. Beautiful. Zach Miller doing it, blocking on these guys, and now receiving over the top. Did he get his hands under it? I think he did.
To the line quickly, and now Wilson's going to escape, gets away, and then throws it away. Outside the pocket, just threw it in the stands. Josh Boyd put the pressure on that time.
You know, one of the things for young quarterbacks is that they just have to develop some trust in their receivers to make plays like this. Give them opportunities. These guys are brilliant pros, and I think Russell Wilson fully understands now. Every once in a while, just give guys like Zach Miller or Percy Harvin or Jermaine Kearse some opportunities. Think back to Jermaine Kearse and that 4th down play in the championship game. Jeez, what a play that was.
Big postseason for him. Good for Miller, too. 2nd and 10. Fake it to Harvin. Pressure put on, flag is thrown. And Harvin winds up with the ball, and we'll see about the penalty. Julius Peppers is there for the tackle. John Parry making the call here.
Offside, defense, number 56, 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
And that's Julius Peppers.
You know, Julius Peppers really had never played an outside linebacker, and he was getting ready to go to Carolina, thinking he'd just go home and finish his career there. And then the Green Bay Packers called and said, how'd you like to be a stand-up 34 outside linebacker? He said, I've been waiting my whole life to have a chance to do that. He loves it, and you've got to assume he's going to get better and better at it as he goes.
But he flew north instead of south as the handoff is taken by Lynch. And Marshawn Lynch to the 20-yard line. Run down by Morgan Burnett. That's a gain of 21 yards.
Fullback just in the game, Derek Coleman. Watch this block. Sits out the inside linebacker, gets the angle there on Brad Jones, and there goes Marshawn Lynch. And if you're a defensive back, that is the last thing you want to see coming down the field. Look at this monster.
5'11", 215. Who can ever forget that day against New Orleans in the playoffs a couple years back on that run he made. High snap.
Percy Harvin in the backfield.
And Harvin takes it to the 11-yard line. Harvin can line up a lot of places. One thing you probably won't see him do is take a direct snap. Then again, who knows?
Well, here's what happens is he comes out from the outside. Defensively, you think you're looking at an empty set, a pure pass situation. All of a sudden, Percy Harvin comes in the backfield. They hand him the ball, and he runs like a running back.
Harvin comes out, 2nd down and 1. Leave the fullback in here, Derek Coleman. To the outside. Lynch would have been stopped. Instead is able to move forward and pick up the 1st down. Broke away from Clinton Dix.
Clinton Dix is finding out the NFL is a little different than the SEC. As good as Alabama and their opponents are, as a safety, you hope you're going to make this tackle, but not many people do against Marshawn Lynch. And Don Capers knew it. He said, if we try and tackle this guy with one guy, it's going to be a long night for us.
Under 4 minutes until halftime. It's 1st and goal. Lynch cutting it back. In he goes for the touchdown. Marshawn Lynch picking right up where he's left off the last 2 years. 7 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown to give Seattle the lead again.
Little read option here, but you're going to have a kick-out block on the front end against Matthews. He never sees it coming and can't get there on the backside, and Lynch just walks it.
Luke Wilson throwing a nice block. Steven Hauschka for the extra point. And the Seahawks that time go 70 yards in 6 plays, 4 of them on the ground, 2 through the air. And as we open the 2014 season, it's 17-10 in favor of the Super Bowl champions. Well, the Stars coming out all fall and even into the winter. You'll see all of these guys at one time or another on Sunday Night Football. Beginning this Sunday with Carrie Underwood leading us into the game. And congratulations to Carrie. She's going to have a baby.
It's so exciting. Mike Fisher, congratulations. Yeah. And we love having a superstar like Carrie Underwood kicking off our show every Sunday night. She is fantastic.
Busy household. Mike Fisher ready to go to training camp with the Nashville Predators in the National Hockey League. That's taken by Micah Hyde in the end zone, and we go to Michelle.
Well, right tackle Brian Bulaga went to the locker room after they looked at his left knee and took the brace off his left knee. Now keep in mind, he missed the entire season last year with a torn ACL in his left knee. He is questionable to return. As for tight end Richard Rodgers, whom he collided with, he has a stinger. That's sort of a nerve irritation in his neck. He also is questionable, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. There is Rodgers. He's standing along the sideline, rookie out of the University of California. Mike McCarthy sending in the play here. 3:41 remaining in the half. And Rodgers hanging in the pocket, and then he throws to his tight end, Quarles, for a gain of 18.
It was interesting hearing Aaron Rodgers talking about Andrew Quarles. He said, you know, he's a guy that doesn't always look that great in practice, and you don't think that much, then you get him in the game, and he just keeps making plays. Getting a chance now because of the injury to Richard Rodgers.
Been there a while. Drafted in the 5th round in 2010 out of Penn State. Lacey behind Quarles. And that Seattle defense is right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage, led by Bobby Wagner, 3rd year. They picked him in the 2nd round in 2012. He's the 2nd rounder, and Wilson's the 3rd rounder. Boy, they draft so well in Seattle. John Schneider, Pete Carroll, and the free agent pickups have been great too.
Wagner, the leading tackler both his years with the Seattle Seahawks, had a hamstring injury. Didn't play much in preseason, but playing great so far.
2nd and 10. Crowd in full throat here. Play clock down under 5. Oh, and Rodgers, he started to call for time, and then you got the rookie center who wants to snap it, and he's getting an earful here from Rodgers. But Rodgers calling time as Lindley snapped it.
Timeout Green Bay. Team's 3rd. 30 seconds.
That's their final.
TV timeout.
Looked like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Michelle Tafoya back in Seattle. You've seen Aaron Rodgers at the line of scrimmage trying to communicate with his linemen. Well, head coach Mike McCarthy radios in the plays to speakers inside Aaron's helmet. We have a helmet with similar speakers, and we've got a radio just like Mike McCarthy's. Let's see what it sounds like in all this noise, Al.
Sounds like grunge to me.
I'm not a quarterback.
It's 3rd down and 10 after the timeout, which Rodgers just did get, and then he has to dump it over the middle, and Starks is able to lunge for the first down. So a big first down pickup here on a 2nd and 10, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning.
You're unbelievable.
Wow. It's been a long year. 2-minute warning, 17-10 Seattle. Toyota halftime coming up. D'Antoni and Rodney checking in. Their thoughts on the first half, and then Bob and Hines will be here to take a look at Sunday night's matchup in Denver, the Colts and the Broncos, as you look at Mount Rainier outside Seattle. And back we come with 2 minutes to go and a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Hawks up by 7. And Rodgers gets it away quickly, fast release. Quarles makes the catch, gain of about 6.
Rodgers very much under control now. Obviously, you want to milk this clock all the way down. You don't want to give the Seahawks a chance to have the ball back, but you need points on the board because the Seahawks deferred and will get the second half kickoff.
Green Bay running its 31st play. It's a swing to Starks, and he's going to be forced out of bounds to make it 3rd down. Bobby Wagner is there, and that's going to make it 3rd down and 3. Richard Sherman says, man, I got to do everything I can to keep from getting bored. Well, he must be bored tonight because nothing. 0 has come his way.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen to him. You ever see him do that thing where he goes, like he's yawning? That's what it is, because by formation, you can go away from him because he stays on this side. So they have just left Jordy Nelson on the other side.
Play clock at 4. They run a stunt up front. Rodgers able to step away from it. Throwing on the run. And Rodgers, was he across the line?
He had the first down.
45-yard line, he did.
All he had to do was take another 2 steps, and he had that first down.
Sure.
Well, maybe not. That was Bobby Wagner was coming up on him. Maybe that was what he was thinking. But a guy as elusive as Rodgers is, there's the line, and it's not over the line. As long as that back foot is still on that line, it's not a penalty. But I just thought he had a chance to run for it.
So 4th down, now they'll have to punt, give the ball away. Earl Thomas, let's see what he's going to do with this one. Mastey's kick. And they're going to let it bounce, and it takes a nice Seattle bounce as it comes back to the 17-yard line.
That Seattle player was really close to that ball, and I think that's what the Packers are saying. If it just touched his foot.
Right. Jeremy Lane, if it touches him, it's a live ball.
Did not.
Of course, they want a flag. They want to look at it.
Let's see if this ball touches the foot of Jeremy Lane. I don't think he really knows where it is. Yeah, it did not.
No.
Not until the Packers player touched it anyway, for sure.
Green Bay touched it first.
I think
he was close.
Yep.
Seattle.
John Kuhn, who was the first guy there. So you've got 66 seconds. And Seattle has all of its timeouts.
You know, a year ago at this time on opening day, I think you probably run it a few times, get out of here because Green Bay doesn't have their timeouts. After what we saw out of Russell Wilson tonight and in the Super Bowl, they probably let him work this a little.
These bombs away if they want. Turbin is in the backfield. Swing it to the outside. It's a low throw, and it's caught there just in bounds by Doug Baldwin, and he can't get out of bounds. The clock will keep going under a minute. Pete Carroll looking up at the clock. They have all of their timeouts. Don't take one here. 2nd down and 6. And Wilson under pressure and runs right into Matthews. A flag is down. You got Matthews and Peppers both there. And a flag is down in the secondary at the 32-yard line.
Oh boy, this one's going to hurt. You go from a sack and into the half. To an automatic first down if it is.
It is.
Illegal contact, defense, number 59. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Inside linebacker Brad Jones, and there goes the sack, and Seattle has a first down.
Little double move here by Zach Miller, and you could see the grab. Not a difficult call at all.
35 seconds.
We're going to put 3 more seconds back on the clock. There it is, 35 seconds. The ball is at the 26-yard line. And again, Seattle is going to get the ball to start the second half. Trying to cash in here at the end of the first. Turbing. They'll take it up to the 35-yard line, and now they'll take a timeout right here with 27 seconds. And we can tell you that this kickoff special is being brought to you by GE, presenting the boy who beeps. By Toyota, let's go places. By Verizon, more live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Pharrell Williams, little performance, going to be on The Voice this year. Love that show.
Get lucky. Not you, I mean, just general.
I was born lucky.
Quarterbacks tonight. Not too many incompletions in this game. Only touchdown pass belonging to the smiling Mr. Wilson.
Before this one's said and done, one of these two quarterbacks is going to scramble around and make a big play that may end up deciding it.
On a Hail Mary. Second and 3. And Wilson deep downfield, underthrown and incomplete, and almost intercepted by Clinton Dix. Doug Baldwin got behind him, but Clinton Dix had position. Incomplete, 3rd and 3.
Nice play by Clinton Dix here. He is going to be right here. And when Wilson moved to his right, his hope was that Clinton Dix, the young rookie, was going to go with him. He did not. Held his ground. He's missed a couple of tackles tonight, but perfect coverage there. And angry Doug Baldwin got him. That was pretty funny stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They talk about every day Doug Baldwin's angry at something.
3rd and 3. And they'll keep it on the ground, and chugging to the 42-yard line is Turbin. And they will take a timeout. 14 seconds left. 14 seconds left. Seattle would need a good chunk of yardage to afford Hauschka the opportunity to tack on 3 more.
Hauschka's career-long 54, so they need to get it somewhere around the 35-yard line to give him a realistic chance.
Need about 25 yards here as Wilson gets ready to take it out of the shotgun. 4-man rush. And Wilson's going to have to throw that away, and that's going to chew up a total of 4 seconds, leaving 10 on the clock.
I'll tell you, the pass rush of the Packers is starting to have a little impact. Justin Britt, the rookie, on the outside, and Julius Peppers kind of throws him aside as Russell Wilson starts to go. And on the other side, Russell Okung, who's coming off that toe surgery in the offseason, and he's just getting back into form. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go.
Wilson. Well, he's going to run with the ball and then gets it to the 48, but even with a timeout here, that's going to be well out of Hauschka's range or anybody's range. And that'll do it for the first half. So on opening night, Seattle leading Green Bay by a score of 17-10, with the Hawks getting the ball when we start the second half. Coming up next, Toyota halftime after these messages from your NBC station.
Welcome to the Toyota halftime. Let's go places.
At halftime, the Seahawks lead the Packers 17-10. Hines Ward coming up, but first, Dan Patrick, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harris. Dan.
All right, Bob, thank you. It pains me to give you credit, Rodney, but in the pregame you said you didn't want Earl Thomas back there returning punts. He's back there because Golden Tate went to Detroit, so you didn't like it, and you ended up with a muff punt.
And Dan, I also said that he's the best free safety in the league. I never said that he was the best punt returner, but I saw him warming up. He didn't look comfortable back there. He dropped one.
And also, Hines Ward pointed out, Richard Sherman is always on the defensive left. They put Jordy Nelson on the other side and worked on Maxwell.
But the thing that impressed me about Green Bay was the physical play of the offensive line. It hasn't always been like that.
No, they pounded it in here, got the lead early, and they have been very, very physical.
Now, let's look at Seattle, because we weren't sure how much offense or how much defense Green Bay was going to have, but how much offense Seattle was going to be able to put up here. What have you seen so far that's a little bit different with Seattle?
Well, what they wanted to do, they wanted to get Percy Harvin involved really early, and that's what they did. They got him the ball in so many different ways, whether it was a jet screen, whether it was a handoff. Dan, they come out, he's so versatile, they line him up in so many different places.
And then it starts with Marshawn Lynch. That physical running style, getting people to play the run sets up this. This is the new off the read option. Running play, not there, but now I can throw it when the defense reacts.
And this is what they try to do. They try to come out with all these trick plays, and they wear you down with Marshawn Lynch.
Now when you've got to play the whole field, they can give it to Marshawn, big cutback lane because of the read option pass. Seattle's offense is playing outstanding.
He gets stronger as the game goes on.
Okay, what do you expect second half? Start with Green Bay.
Green Bay, I expect them to do the same thing. Stay patient. Don't get away from the run game. Don't come out here and try to spread this team out and pass the ball 30, 40 times. Run the football.
What's Seattle do?
Well, Seattle is doing a good job of keeping Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. They're going to keep feeding Lynch and keep feeding Harvin.
All right, guys. Coming up, look ahead to the Colts and Broncos on Sunday Night Football. But first, it takes a lifetime of work and dedication to become one of the greats. And this week, Coach T catches up with two of his finest recruits ever.
Seahawks 17, Packers 10 at halftime. Meanwhile, Sunday night on NBC, the Broncos host the Colts in Denver. It's the second time Peyton Manning will play against his old team and his successor, Andrew Luck. And last year, in the midst of memorable seasons for both clubs, when Manning went back to Indy,